is very costly on Yahoo. And you'd be right. And technically, we probably could put this as a Yahoo value. But there's a couple things. He's 52 overall, probably also because he's an outfielder. But on ESPN, he's 79. And then on Fantrax, 93. They're all over the place. By the way, Fantasy Pros, 56. There is a 40-plus swing between the lowest and highest of these, and I think that's pretty close to a trend. It looks like there's at least 30 or 40 spots between the high and the low, but, Alvarez is going to cost you more in Yahoo, as he should. You should pay more attention. He's an outfielder there. He's worth even more because of the position eligibility, where you are stuck to DHing him in any other format.
Yeah, and that's actually the one that I didn't get right on the sheet. So changing it to outfield, because I did go through the positions. There may be one or two I missed on Yahoo because they're so different, but I did label them for Yahoo as the right positions.
And you might get some more position eligibility this year. It's possible if he plays around, but, getting healthier. I think he's a bounce back guy. I talked about him on Fantasy Pros, but he's all over the place. Max Fried is another one. Check this one out. 54 on Fantrax, all the way down to 107 on ESPN. Right smack dab in the middle is Yahoo. His Fantasy Pros also completely different than everybody else, 88. So he's got a 54, 77, 88, and 107 value across 4 different places. Okie doke.
And this is, once again, a guy that had a tremendous 2020. And on Fantrax, because you can draft right after the season is over, a lot of people have recency bias and all that stuff. So he shoots up boards. Also, his Fantasy Pros high, his highest rank is what he is ranked on Fantrax. So that's kind of crazy. 54 is his high on Fantasy Pros, and 54 is his rank on Fantrax.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of shows you how, developed that pushes. This next guy is interesting because I really did change a little bit of a tune. It's more about value, not about the player, in the AMA that we did, the live AMA podcast, where we did kind of these, I presented you with these blind debates of some third basemen, and Yalmo Karana is at 68 on Fantrax. Is that right? No, Yahoo. What's the purple?
68 is, purple is Yahoo.
Purple's Yahoo. 68 on Yahoo. 81 on Fantrax. 100 on ESPN. 85 is the Fantasy Pros value. I don't like the pay up. I like Moncada. I like the bounce back. I think COVID definitely played a role in, what he was dealing with last year. I think there's stolen bases to be had with him, and I just believe in the bat. Though, did you see there's like a he did like a music video?
Oh, that's going to move him down in my rankings. Sorry.
I think in the next secret show, which is probably going to come this week, we listen to that. I haven't heard it.
Going to be all in Spanish, right? I mean,
okay,
are we
even better.
Understand it?
Okay, Mather, it'll be fine. Kevin Mather will be fine.
Oh, give me a break! Come on. All I'm saying is you and I won't understand.
It doesn't. Okay, it doesn't matter. We're not there to understand it. We're there for the imagery.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't understand Trevor Bowers or Le'Veon Bell either. So there you go.
There you go. I think it'll be great, and we can play those things without getting copyright stuff. So we will react. I
can't wait till he gets a diamond in his head.
The still image is just incredible. The still image that I saw. This isn't rap. This is love song. Yo Moncada. Moncada. That's, I think, what we're getting more of.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more of that.
You know what? I think you should write a Yo Moncada song afterwards.
Oh, yeah? In Spanish?
Yeah,
I'll be like, holla, everybody.
I saw that on Twitter. So you said adios in quotations or whatever you said. That means goodbye if anyone was lost on this. And then someone underneath it said, hey, your Spanish is getting better. Holla.
Holla. Yeah, I did own. By the way, during the time of this podcast, Seattle's Kevin Mather, CEO, he's gone. He's resigned because of how stupid he is. He literally resigned. So I did do a tweet, and I quote tweeted, if you're not getting it, there's like a little bit of space between when we started this part up and we recorded a little bit earlier. I quote tweeted Passon, and I went, peace symbol, adios. And I said, it means goodbye, just in case that wasn't tremendously clear. And because he had said his English wasn't tremendous. So I did that. I mean, I'm not going to go viral because I never do, but, it's not bad. Like, at this moment, we got, like, about almost 100 hearts or whatever. So, there you go. There's your Welsh doing something, finally, on Twitter, which never really goes anywhere. Let's go to some more here. Eddie Rosario, 78 on ESPN, 151 on Fantrax, 123 on Yahoo, 94 on Fantasy Pros. That right there is the epitome of all over the damn place. Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, this one is one of the more obvious ones.
Yeah.
I think I'd take like 2 passes looking over these before I put them up, and this one was just insane.
Patrick Corbin, another one of those guys I want to buy back into this year. I think he's just such a great, this is another Fantasy Pros conversation, just a great buyback in, especially if you wanted to get into Joe's like RPV and stuff. You want to talk about the value he has as potential SP3 or 4 on the bounce back. 104 you're going to have to pay on Fantrax, which isn't, great value, but it's still fine. 123 Fantasy Pros, 144 or 141 Yahoo, and 171 ESPN. I'll take all of them, to be frank, but every place besides Fantrax, you're just packing on the deal.
Yeah, and this is a weird one with Fantrax because, like I said before, who we were talking about a little bit earlier, where I said, it's Max Fried, and coming off the 2020 season, he had such a good year, so he was way higher. This is kind of weird that Fantrax is high on Corbin as well because he had such a bad year.
Yeah.
So he had to have been kind of low, but I think that is kind of dealing with the murkiness of pitching in this year too, with all the injuries in 2020 and the shortened season and everything. People went back more on Fantrax to guys they know than, I guess when you get a little bit later, than they did just take guys that had great years.
It's an oddity. It's kind of an oddity. The rest aren't eye-popping. Taylor Rogers all over the damn place. Yahoo 128, ESPN down to 206. The others in between. He doesn't have a starting closer role or confirmed starting role, so I'm very much against him right now. He could definitely get some saves, but to pay 128 is asinine. Christian Vasquez, 155 on Yahoo, down to 198 on Fantrax. He's in between on the others. Tyler Mahle, 168 on Fantrax, 221 on ESPN, 182 on Yahoo, 189 on Fantasy Pros. Jesus. Carlos Santana, 160.
This is one of the biggest ones.
This is a huge, massive one between ESPN and Yahoo. Actually, might be the biggest we've seen. 120 spot difference. 169, nice, on ESPN for Carlos Santana. 286 on Yahoo. Though, this can't be 100% right because you have a designation as Carlos Santana DH on Yahoo. There's no way. He's definitely a first baseman on Yahoo.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he's a first. Probably, maybe I missed those DHs is what I did there. But
I wonder if he's DH or first base on ESPN. So, but it doesn't matter. He's 286 on Yahoo, 195 on Fantasy Pros. That's a huge one. This is the infamous pitcher list one for me. This is a guy that this is why he won't go away. Not that I've heard a single human being that watched PitchCon and has had fun with me about this, but Nick Pollock and Miles over at Pitcher List, they will not let me forget. And good, I will not let them forget if I'm completely right. I absolutely est all over Dalton Varsho getting picked on my blind team because I just don't like it because there's no guarantees. Now, foot in my mouth, if they're like, yeah, we're going to keep him on the roster and he's going to, get the starting center field job, then all of the reasons are validated. But Steve Gilbert out here in Arizona, beat writer with Diamondbacks, he's going out so much to say, I don't think he makes the team. They don't think he makes the team because if they didn't have Steven Vogt, then they need him as a backup catcher. But they do have Vogt, team leader. They want to keep him on there. There's not a guaranteed center field job. Ketel Marte probably going to be the everyday center fielder, and they got LeCastro to fill that spot. I just don't see Varsho up in the first month or two. He'll get time this year, but it's not worth it. It's just not worth it at all. 170 on Yahoo, 260 on ESPN, and in the 200s on the other places. So that one is going to follow me this year for sure.
I think that VR is the next worst rank besides Varsho. And VR still has some appeal as a utility man just because he gets stolen bases. Varsho isn't doing that. Varsho was a good idea because it looked like he was going to be the starting center fielder for a little bit, and he qualifies a catcher. Yeah. That was why everyone was drafting him.
And if that was true, then like I said, bank it. Take it to the bank. You're 100%
Well,
right.
170 would make sense if that was true. You know what I mean? That like a catcher that's going to play most days, that would be a nice value. But now we know he's probably not even going to make the cut for the final roster.
I mean, hey, listen, they could cut Vogt in spring training, and they could want to keep Varsho because he provides versatility.
With COVID.
Yeah, Vogt did. I mean, sure, he could get behind it. They may not need the leadership. There's lots of scenarios. My only problem is it's not cheap. And people are drafting Varsho in the Yahoo range. Like, I see Fantasy Pros 237, ESPN 260. That's not where he's going. That's just not where he's going. And also, I don't know, you're going to play in most leagues. Like, I just don't see the need to draft him as my first catcher, especially where we did. But I'm probably making too big of a thing about it. Of course, he'll probably make the roster, get 500 at bats, and be the number 2 overall fantasy catcher, and I'll eat my words, whatever. Drew Pomeranz, ESPN has really high, 187 down to 237 on Yahoo. Trevor Rosenthal has got an over 100 spot difference between Yahoo and ESPN, 178 to 297, and Aaron Hicks, 210 to 296. Friendos, those are your all over the place players across all of these really weird setup for the season ranks that are, they're definitely identifying players and values, and maybe there's not as many trends, but they've really all kind of set themselves apart, I think. And it's Yahoo has got their insane position eligibility. Like, I'll just go back to 2019. ESPN is in a different world on projections, and Fantrax is I think their score from a shortened season has driven their ADP in a way that I don't think is fantastic. So they're all in this really weird space that hopefully you are aware of and hopefully you can take advantage of.
Yeah, and it's, this year's rankings are as weird as anyone's. You know what I mean? I feel like we're seeing higher highs and lower lows on every single player this year because of the shortened season in 2020, and it just continues on the actual sites themselves.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk to ourselves or talk about this process till we're blue in the face, but at the end of the day,
self.
I
really like this process.
We just got to get to the end.
Let's keep it.
It's going to be fascinating to look at the results and compare 20 to 21 when it's all said and done. There are so many values. We may look at how silly we all were on both ends. We may look at, look at how silly everyone was dropping all these players that struggled in a shortened season. Or what if everybody's vindicated? What if 75% of the guys who underperformed in 2020 carried that over to 2021? I mean, people will have their heyday.
Pitchforks out.
Yeah. I guess. So there you go. That is Ranks Analysis. The sheet is live right now on our Patreon. Got to be a part of it on these. I think what do we do? Sergeant level or above, or do you do all patrons?
Sergeant level and above.
Okay, yeah, and that's usually how a lot of those go. Sergeant level or above, you can get access to this. You can actually see the full mix sheet, which we didn't go over, but it's everybody. Like, if you want to just scroll down, it's ranked by the Fantasy Pros rank, but you can go down and scroll, and it'll tell you where everybody is. And then it's got each site. It's exactly what we use in our show sheet. So you want to check that out. That's a cool little extra with all the other stuff that we have going on. Hey, here's something that's going on this week, and we want you guys to be ready for it. Baseball Pods is doing their baseball podcast tournament this week. And, it starts up this week. Last year, did okay. It was fine. Prospect 1 took a beat to RotoWire, I think, in round 2, I think it was. And this league lasted 2 or 3 rounds. We did beat Roto World. We beat them so bad they changed their name last year. That's what happened, Boggs. No, we barely beat them. But we have Prospect 1 and in this league back in it. So make sure you are voting and vote often. I think we are in we're in the Betts and the Tatis Jr. division. So just be on the lookout. Follow Baseball Pods. Look for the tournament. Just make sure to support your boys. Support Prospect 1, which I don't think will go too long, but in this league has a chance to do some damage. So make sure you're checking that out, voting for ITL, and we will be very appreciative of it. We will be so
vote
happy.
Or die.
Vote or die. Vote or die.
More important than the election, this vote.
Yeah, right? Implications even bigger than ever. Bigger ever than before. The rest of the stuff, patreon.com/ITL Army. We were a little late on some of the videos from last week. My interview with Eddie Almaguer for Prospect 1, our draft that we did with Joe Pisapia, those are both finally up. You can check out those videos if you want to relive all of that action, uncensored on the Joe Pisapia interview as well. So you could see all his beeps and stuff before he became super famous on Fantasy Pros. And he can't have that in public, But we have all of those on our Patreon, plus all the other stuff. New ranks are coming up in like a week. So, if you want to wait a week, that's totally fine. You can subscribe at the beginning of March. But we've got all